Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the Crow here, back with another video. Today we are going to be talking about something kind of new, actually. This is not really a series that I'm going to start, but kind of a series of episodes. Um, Different thing, kind of. It won't be that long, obviously, but basically, what I'm going to do is, you guys in the comments are going to answer a bunch of questions, or ask a bunch of questions or concerns that you guys have had with the game and Wizard101 or Pirate101. I don't know much about Pirate101, but I can try to answer as much as possible, and I'll have some people in there with me to answer it who know Pirate101 better, probably. So, uh, basically, then I'll just, in the next video that I do of this, I'll respond to those questions or concerns. It doesn't have to be like a question, but there are people who are concerned about certain aspects of this game, and I realize that they have a need to be. So, let's get started. So the first thing that a lot of people have had concern about, that I've been wanting to talk about for a really, really long time, well, I mean, I guess not too long, but ever since it came out, is Shadow Strike. So, this spell, okay, 50% pierce. All right, yeah, it's majorly broken. I'll admit that. Well, at least it seems that way at first. It's not once you think about it. So, 50% pierce. Let's think about this for a second. All right. You're an ice who has spent all your life getting immunity to storm and fire, and you have like 110% immunity. Well, someone comes along with a Shadow Strike, pierces your resist automatically down to 60%. Well, 60% is still a lot, but then say they have like base pierce of like 20%. There's down to 40%. 40% is still a lot. Kind of a bad example, but at the same time, you know, it's not really as broken as you think. Now, the first thing that you gotta do as an ice, if you have done this, first thing you gotta realize, Tower Shield. Tower Shield is how much? 50% protection. This is 50% pierce. You just screwed over a strike once you put this up, completely, absolutely. And if they like wand it off or something like that, you got to be smart about it. You know, you got to play it smart. Maybe you got something in your TC, or you know, you put on a weakness on them, and they still pierce through resist, but their spell is still weaker. You know, you got to play it smart. With Strike, it's only broken because people aren't really smart when it comes to using their spells to counteract it, and Shadow Strike kind of needed to be invented, in my opinion. Because, yeah, I mean, people were getting OP pierce, and I'll admit there were people finding ways around it, and that was great. But Strike did help a lot, and it still does help a lot. I'm not completely defending Strike. I'm just saying that it helps, and depending on how you look at it, it can be good or bad. Now, it's like I said, it's your guys' choice. All preference of how you look at it. I'm not forcing you to say that Strike is a good spell or that Strike is a bad spell, but Strike has its ups and its downs. Strike is good because of the high resist, but at the same time, some people are complaining that it's too much pierce. Well, like I say, Tower Shield just cancels it out, so you just got to be smart about it. That's the first thing, is Strike with Tower Shields and stuff. So let's talk about like kind of pierce and stuff now. I guess in general, since we're on the Strike topic. For instance, Volcanic Shield. Okay, so you are just in your regular PvP gear. Let's say I'm in my regular PvP gear. Let's say I go with my let's see, I go Hood of Harmony's trade with the Age Room and Justice. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, by the way, I did unstitch my gear in preparation for obtaining the Malistaire gear. I haven't obtained like any of it yet still, but I did get my membership, so I will be farming that soon. But I did unstitch. So, wow, what's going on? Okay, so put on that, and this, and then there's my 1v1 deck. So we got like 57 resist. Okay, so let's say someone wants to a Storm Wizard wants to put up Shrike, and like, okay, so what do I do? Like, you know, I mean, I would only have 7% resist, right? Well, wrong. What I would do is I'd put up either a Tower Shield. Now, Tower Shield doesn't work too good against Storm, but it still cancels out the Shrike nonetheless, and so you still have some good resist. This is almost 60% resist, guys. That's a lot. And so, even if they have like 20% Pierce, I still have almost 40 resist on them if I put a Tower Shield up. Now, here's even the better thing. If I put up a Volcanic Shield and they have like a Shrike plus 20% Pierce, and let's say they even have 30% Pierce, base Pierce, then, yeah, okay, it pierces through the Volcanic Shield, but I still have almost 50 resist, 47% resist on them. So, that's the thing, guys, is like I say, Shrike, you just gotta be smart about it. People say it's broken, and it might be a partially broken spell, but that's only because people are broken. People don't know how to get around it, and that's my opinion about it. Okay, so I guess my next concern, or the next concern, is this School of Balance. So a lot of people have been complaining lately. Okay, balance is so broken. That's what people are saying. I would beg to differ. I can tell you guys that it is really hard, really hard to be a balanced wizard, okay? Well, at least a proper balanced wizard. I would say that Lore Master spamming, talking to myself, just kidding, no, but Lore Master spamming doesn't take much skill, but it still is kind of a skillful spell when you use it right. I try to use it as right as possible, as scarcely as possible. I carry a lot in my side deck for emergencies. I carry only 4 in my main deck. Notice I carry like more mana burns. I carry just as many scorpions. I carry a lot of dispels and cloaks and reshuffles. So I am pretty much set for anything that comes my way. I even carry Mandarin, so I try to strategize as much as possible. That's me myself. Now, there are people who pretty much rely completely on the Spell Lore Master and only use these in emergencies, like spells like these. I use Mana Burn the most, I will admit that. But according to the storyline, now you guys may think, okay, Alex, you're ranting on about the storyline. No one cares about the storyline. Let me tell you this. King's Isle does care about the storyline. They very much do care about the storyline. They made it. So, according to the storyline, Balance is supposed to be one of the most powerful schools anyway. So, you know, you don't complain to Balance wizards. You know, you don't go up to them and be like, dude, you're so OP, you should just delete your wizard or something like that. No. Balance is balance. Okay, you take the 6 schools, Fire, Ice, Storm, Life, Death, and Myth, and you combine them together and they all make balance. You know, balance has to be strong, but it also has to be tanky, but it also has to be able to make people weak, but also has to be able to make people strong, has to heal, has to everything. It has to do everything that all the other schools can do, and but a little bit weaker. And it can, you know, it is a little bit weaker than some of the other schools. For instance, Judgment isn't as powerful as Heckhound, or it doesn't hit all enemies like Tempest does. They have Hex. Now that may be more powerful than Curse, but that's because Balance is Balance. But they don't have Feint either, so you got to go to Death to train Feint. We have Weakness, but we don't have things like Plague or Virulent Plague. We have Balance Blade, but we don't have, well, I'm comparing it to a lot of death spells, but we don't have a lot of things like that anyway. Okay, for instance, we have the Elemental Spears, and it's Spirit Spears, so, that in itself is an example. All the other schools get, what is it, 10% pierce with their spears. We only get 6%, because, you know, it's a balance of the 3, but it's a little bit weaker. So, that's pretty much where balance goes with their things. Lore Master still is a concern, because it's an extremely strong spell, and I will admit it's even an extremely strong spell. I wouldn't mind if they change it. Maybe they change it to like 5 pips, make it, I was thinking of this too, I was thinking maybe they should change it to like 5 pips, make it like 450 damage base, just completely, and then just put a minus 25% weakness on. Basically, be like a Savage Paw. I wouldn't mind something like that. A lot of balanced wizards would complain, but I could factor it into my strategy still. I would probably take out 2 Lore Masters and put in 2 Savage Paws like this, something like that. If that were the case. That might actually not be a bad idea in the future either, because I do like Savage Paw. It's a very powerful spell. So Lore Master, it's extremely powerful, but it's not overpowered. Because I'm going to tell you guys, this game is pretty balanced, and a lot of people may disagree with that, and in fact, a lot of people are going to disagree with that. This game is very balanced. I have noticed that while playing on things like my Storm. My Storm is extremely powerful, but he dies so easily. My Balance doesn't really die easily. He doesn't really have much to worry about, but he still can be defeated by schools like Storm, Death, Myth, Fire. I have really big problems with overtime. So that's one thing that I have always had problems with, is overtime spells. So, see, everyone gets their ups and downs. I mean, even with Lore Master spamming, overtime spells are still a killer, because all they have to do is put on a Shrike, and then go ahead and do an overtime spell, and, you know, all schools have their ups and downs, and things that you can't really avoid happening from you. You know, if you go against a Balance, you're going to most likely get Lore Master spam. That's something you cannot control. If you go against a Life, you're going to most likely get either Luminous Weaver spammed or Blade Stacked Spiny Sword. That's not something you can really avoid. If you're going against a Death, you're going to get Vampire spammed and Blade Stacked Skeletal Dragon. You know, there are these things that you just can't avoid. If you're going against a Storm, you're going to get spammed in general. Just spammed with everything. Storm, Shark, Kraken, Wild Bolt, Insane Bolt sometimes if it comes to it. You're going to get spammed. It doesn't matter in PvP, you're just going to get spammed by any school. Any school. You're gonna get wrecked. And there are things that you just can't avoid. However, if you play it smart, you can survive. Like me, myself, I have 4 balanced spells. I used to carry 5, but I've kind of factored in these in here, because I figured they're more worth it, even though I have like all the storms, or I have pretty much all the Dispel Strain. The only spells I don't have are Ice and Fire. I'll get those eventually, but I have Storm, Myth, Life, Death, and yeah, Balance. So I have all of those trained. It does come in handy when I need them, but for the most part, I just use the 5-pip Dispels. 5-pip seems a lot, but if you think about it, when you put these on, like for instance these, they can't cleanse, number 1. Fires can't really do anything, like they can't Smoke Screen, can't Fire Elf, whatever. They can't Tower Shield or Stun. They can't stun with these either, because the Myth Dispel, they can't heal, etc, etc. So they really do help a lot, and like I say, you just gotta play it smart. Yeah, so it's all about your preference, what you think is good, what you think is not good, or not so good. So I think, what else? Is there anything else that I want to talk about? So yeah, so this game, like I say, is balanced, and people you know, are like, oh yeah, there are certain schools that are becoming obsolete. Okay, Life, for instance, alright? We have a lot of heals on our pets, but they don't heal as much as we'd like them to. Life Wizards can heal whenever we want them to. So, Life Wizards, shout out to you. You guys are still awesome. I love you guys. You guys, believe it or not, I've been in so many situations. In Darkmoor, I have wanted a Life Wizard, because Life Wizards, they may not be, like, incredible, but they have so many heals. They've got Fairy that they can heal you with. I use TC Fairy, but that's not fun. I mean, TC Fairy isn't any fun to use, because you're using TC, and they cost a lot. They almost cost like 1,000 gold or something each. Rebirth, TC Rebirth, they cost a lot. I don't want to use those all the time. So Life Wizards, you still can use things. You can use Primordial on a freaking Rebirth, and it will do a bunch of heals. So Life Wizards, you're still needed, and you're still useful, and in fact, you're more useful than people realize. Storm Wizards, you are still the hardest hitting school. Myth Wizards and Fire Wizards, your gear sucks. I'm just gonna say that right out. Okay, but nonetheless, you are still the two hardest hitting schools right after Storm, and you guys can still use that, and you guys can still hit that hard, and you know your power is not gone. Balance Wizards, you're still supposed to be in control of the battlefield. The role of Balance, it says uh, Balance Wizards are great at adjusting the rules of combat. That's what Balance Wizards are supposed to do. We're supposed to adjust the rules of combat, adjust what's going on the battlefield. We're supposed to change things around for other people, or for ourselves. We're supposed to be able to do that pretty nicely. And if you're smart, you can still do it. I think Death Wizards, your whole role is to weaken other people and make yourself stronger. It's true, and you know, be able to take damage pretty easily. Death is a pretty awesome school. I admit that. I'm kind of sad that I deleted Shadow Pants, but in the end, it was worth it. I need to though. I'll recreate him someday. Like I say, he will return. But Death is really awesome school. So you guys, all schools have their role in this game, and they are not. No school is completely useless. All schools have their role. All schools have their powerful powerful spell that they use. Fire is like Ifrit and Krampus. Myth is like things like Medusa or Ninja Pigs or things like that. I mean, Ninja Pigs is a really, really powerful spell. I love that spell. It hits for so much damage. Yeah, I guess I don't really have much else to say besides that. But yeah, no, like I say, guys, if you guys have any more questions or concerns about the game, you know, please let me know. I will be more than happy to address them, and you know, in a later video. And yeah, it seems fun. I hope you guys kind of take to heart what I say. You know, obviously don't have to listen. I'm not forcing you, but you know, hopefully you guys do get that this game has kind of been my life for the last few years, and so I'll defend it to the very end. Kingsdown has made some mistakes, but they've done a pretty good job, in my opinion, at balancing them out. Like I say, all schools have their advantages and disadvantages. You know, you just gotta find them and you gotta be smart about them. And but yeah, so be looking forward to more videos. I will be getting my Dartmoor gear sooner than later. I do have work a lot this week, but early in the mornings. It's like 8:30 right now where I live. But early in the mornings I'll be farming Dartmoor, and late at night. But I work like all through the midday. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I will see you guys later. Give a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're not. So yeah, this is the Crow, signing off.